Good morning, Gilbert. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Man, before we even get started, I got to tell you how enjoyable your videos are, where it's you inside the recording studio on that piano. It is really very touching to just sit there and listen to the stories that you have put in musical form.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that.
To come up with this new album in a day of EDM and you know, just and a lot of hip hop and things like this, how is it that you were able to cut through with this album? Is it because you are a song builder? What is it that put you out here on this one?
Well, I don't really kind of analyze what I do. It's the craft. I'm a traditional songwriter, which is the key for what I do. So I feel there's always room for traditional songwriting. So and it isn't rocket science, because you come up with a melody, good melody, and then try and come up with a good lyric. So it in that sense, that's all you could try to do, and that's something that I love doing.
Is it one of those things where it's like in radio we say if you don't get to the hook of the song in 25 seconds, then it's going into the file? Do you have to play the same game as a songwriter? Because look at what you've done in the music industry. You are really getting us to sing.
Yeah, but I don't see. Again, I don't do that. What makes a hit? I have no idea. Writing a good song, I think I've learned what I believe. Success for me is always in the writing. So if I write what I think is a good song, before it's ever released, before it's even got out on the marketplace, if I'm happy with it, that for me makes my day, and that I view as success. And so, what makes a success, I don't know. Suffice to say, working on this album was a really enjoyable experience, partly because the producer, Ethan Johns, who's the son of Glyn Johns. Glyn Johns famous for working with The Who, the Rolling Stones in the 60s and stuff. So Ethan's approach, very analog, organic stuff, so that comes across. You get the warmth that comes across on the record. So it's the same writer, but you get that extra input from the producer.
Well, I love the exploration that you did with the Same, the Whole World. I mean, there are times that I'm feeling kind of bluesy, but at other times it's very spiritual.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, again, it's of the 10 or 12 songs on the album and stuff, what would happen is Ethan Johns would sit with me, because he needed to like what I had before he would agree to work with me. So amongst the ballads that I love writing, I mean, I come up with up-tempo, I come up with rock songs, so it's kind of nice to include those in the mix. What makes a good album for me is varying and having the slow, having the fast, having the medium. I think that's helpful.
Are you actually a part of the act when it comes time to actually getting the CD or the album together, where you can go in there and just select which one is going to be the first song, which one's going to be the fifth song?
No, I mean the running order. I mean, here's how it works. Ethan sits with me and I play him the melodies because there's no lyrics and stuff. So he hears 10 melodies that he's happy with, and then he goes away to prepare for production, and I go away to write the lyrics, because it takes about 3 months to write all the lyrics. So then, in the studio, we work pretty much live. So the musicians, I play the tune for them on each song. I play it for them. Then they go to their stand. We rehearse it a couple of times, and we take it. We do 2 or 3 takes. Then we move on to the next song. So Ethan's in charge of that from there on in, recording my vocals. For example, he quite likes vocals that aren't perfect, because we would have a situation where we would do, say, 3 takes of the Time to Hold Over. We recorded that. We did about 3 takes. And I said to Ethan, let's slight slip up. Let me do another one. So he says, no, we got it. I said, no, I want to do another one. So we would do a 4th take. But we'd always end up going back to the one with the mistake.
Well, I always thought that was the roots of rock and roll anyway, in the way that's the reason why so much music from the past is still here. I mean, Alone Again, Naturally. I'll never grow tired of that song. Never. Right.
Well, I mean, thank you for that. I mean, it's pretty much it's America's song more than it is an English or a European song. I mean, you could argue that the most popular song of mine in England would be Claire, but the most popular song in America would be Alone Again. So there's something really nice, the fact that they've taken it so much to their hearts and stuff.
What was that journey like for you? Because you were on 2 different continents, and yet it was different music and stuff like that. How did you ever find focus knowing what you were doing in the UK versus what was going on over here in the States?
I didn't think like that, but then my background is the Brill Building, and so Carole King, Neil Sedaka, Neil Diamond, all those kind of people, that's what I was listening to when I was starting out as a young even before I was writing, I would listen to the radio stations, hear Carole King, hear Neil Sedaka. You know, the brill building mentality is pretty much how I've approached the craft of songwriting. So the American approach to music has always been in me. But in terms of what I was listening to on English radio, of course, that came across in the early days of making records and stuff. I'm very influenced by what I hear on the radio. You could argue that the biggest influence initially for me wasn't a particular person or a band, but it was actually the radio, because that's where I heard the songs that would inspire me to want to write.
Speaking of that radio, 6 number one songs, did you ever catch Casey Kasem announcing one of your songs up at number one?
Yeah, my wife, who was an air hostess based in Los Angeles, she used to send me the cassettes, which I still have, because I do all my writing on cassettes. And so she sent me the Casey every week when he did his top. I mean, he was famous because he's no longer with us, but he was, very famous.
I would love to hear him introduce the song "I'll Never Love Again," because the lyrics of this song are so authentic.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Again, you know, that my job is to write the song. I leave it to you to say why you like it, if you like it, how you like it, and stuff. I mean, that's what it's about. It's not for me to tell you what it's about. It's out there for you to get your own meaning from it. So I'm really happy that you like that so much.
How did you get so at ease or humble about the interpretation of our side of the speaker? Because I'd be sitting there saying, no, this is a song about blue elephants. You got to see the blue elephants in there.
Explain that again now. Go on.
Basically, I mean, for us to get the interpretation, you've got one side that, you know, really brought out the song. You know what the song is about. And then here we are on this side of the speaker, and we're getting our own interpretation of the song. And 90% of the time, we're wrong, but we still love the song.
Yeah, but you see, that's the point I make when I do in concert. When I talk in concert about interpreting, I think it's dangerous for artists to tell you what the song is about, because we can very often be disappointed. You know, there are songs that I love, and I've heard songs that I've loved, and I've heard the writers say what it's really about, and sometimes it's very different to what I wanted. And I feel that there's a danger there, because after all, your interpretation is more important than mine, because you're the one that's bought it, you're the one that loves it and stuff. So it's important that you have that interpretation, and nothing takes away from your interpretation. So I think that's key. It's very dangerous. I know there's a classic example, if we have time, which I tell people on stage. Do you remember the band called Ace, who had a hit with How Long?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right, okay. Right, well, the song is How Long Is It? We figure it's an affair that his girlfriend or his wife is having with somebody else. Now, Paul Carrick, who's the writer of that song, and he's now a solo artist on his own here in the UK, he tours regularly. Paul gave an interview, which I heard, where he was asked the meaning of the song. And here's the point. He said it was about the bass player leaving the band, which is really disappointing. So they see the dangers of revealing what it's really about.
Hey, Gilbert, curious to know, when you come up with a song, is your primary motivation to touch other human beings, or is it primarily to touch yourself as a human being? I mean, to make it kind of rock your boat. Just was curious about that.
No, it's all down to just what I like. It's down to me pleasing myself, being happy with it. And that's the joy of songwriting for me. It has nothing to do with anybody else. I don't co-write. I don't invite people in to hear what I'm doing. I get on with the craft. If I'm happy with a song that might never see the light of day in terms of success, if I'm happy with that, that's what gets me through the day. So it's you know, that's the whole point for me.
All right, so every artist has one. Which one of your songs have you written that you can't stand anymore, or you do not want to play?
No, there's only one song that I have a reservation on, and I'm being asked to do it live because it was a hit, which is Ooh Baby.
Oh, really?
Ooh Baby was actually a top 25 R&B hit in America, way back and stuff. But there's so many bloody Ooh Babies in it that I just can't get around to doing it. I've never heard so many Ooh Babies in my life on 3 minutes of a song. So that's the only one. That's the only one.
Coming back to America, this has got to be exciting for you, because I mean, we are in this storyteller mode over here, and we are in the art of listening right now.
I mean, I'm so looking forward to come over to do these days. First time, it'll be the first time in the West Coast, and as I say, first time in almost 40 odd years that I'll be coming over. And I'm really excited. I mean, and the two shows we did last year in New York and Philadelphia, the reaction was really, really great. So we're so looking forward to coming over. And again, it'll just be myself and my guitar player. Bill Shanley is one of Ireland's greatest guitar players, and of course, he's Ray Davies of the Kinks' main sideman.
Wow.
When Ray Davies goes on the road, Bill is always there with him. So I'm lucky that Ray isn't touring the next couple of years. Otherwise, I'd have a missing guitar player.
Well, I congratulate you on the new album and the tour coming to America. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, Gilbert.
Thank you, Aaron. Nice talking to you anyway.
You be brilliant today, okay, sir?
Okay, nice talking to you. All right, take care.